All right, guys, welcome back to another video. Today, I'm going to be answering the age-old question that I've been asked so many times by so many brand owners. Should I run ads on Meta or Google? And the answer is, it totally depends on your brand. There are a lot of factors that go into the decision-making process to figure out which platform you should start running ads on first, because eventually you want to be running ads on both ideally, and almost every brand can eventually run on both, but it sometimes depends where you should start depending on what your product is. So I'm going to break down some of the most important factors that go into each of these platforms and figure out where your money will be best allocated if you were to invest in paid ads today. So let's get right into it. First of all, meta ads, right? Meta ads is really good for visually appealing products. So if you're a product that looks really good in a static ad or in a video ad, in some kind of graphic content, you have a very good chance of it performing well on Meta, because Meta really favors those placements of images and videos on their platform, and that is where most of the ad traffic will come from, right? Additionally, they're really good for impulse buy products. The reason here is because when people are on Meta, so when they're on Facebook or Instagram, they're typically scrolling through the feed without any kind of real objective in mind. So if you're offering them something that is kind of really hard to purchase, it's a really long-term investment, it's something really niche, it's not really a product that many people would be interested in, it's going to be really hard to get a profitable return because people aren't in a buying mindset. However, if it's something that's just an impulse buy where people look at the static or they look at the video and they go, oh yeah, I should definitely buy that right now, then that is a really good product that will sell well on Meta. It's also good for mass market and large total addressable market products. So once again, you want something that appeals to the masses here. Something really niche is difficult to get traction on Meta because it's just going to be much harder to find those people, right? There's millions and millions of people scrolling, browsing every single day. So if you have a product that only has a small total addressable market, it's going to be very hard to effectively reach those people on a large scale with high quality leads, right? So for that reason, if you have a product that applies to a very large group of people, you're going to find it easier to start on Meta quite often. And then finally, Meta provides rapid but more volatile results. So you'll find that on Meta ads, you can scale up a lot more quickly. So you can basically double your budget in a day if things are doing well. If your ads are doing well, you can just kind of double the budget and keep scaling. Whereas on Google, it's a lot slower of a process. So in saying that though, Meta also is more volatile, right? So you can have great results one day and then the next day completely drop off a cliff and drop off the cliff for 2 more days until finally getting your best results ever on the 4th day, right? It's because of the way that Meta targets and the way that it tests with audiences and shows your ads. And you often end up getting these more volatile results. And the algorithm changes all the time. Meta's policies are changing all the time. So you really have to be careful with Meta and the volatility around it. Now, these are some examples of niches which may work better as Meta first brands, right? These are the ones that tend to dominate on Meta and the ones that get the best results quickest. This is stuff like apparel, so clothing, things like obviously think sports clothing, think general fashion stuff. They're always way bigger on Meta than they are on Google because people are more likely to impulse buy apparel products in a lot of cases, right? Unless it's apparel for a specific purpose, in which case you'd be more likely to move over to Google, which I'll explain shortly. Supplements are another big one. Often people will get an ad for, a muscle building or weight loss supplement on Meta, and they'll go, oh yeah, that's a priority of mine right now. That's a very large market, right? 90% of the world probably wants to improve their physique. 99% plus probably wants to improve their body, their physique, their health. So getting ads to appear on Meta for supplements or for anything related to that health niche is often going to get good performance. Additionally, personal care, very similar to supplements. So stuff like skincare, anything else in that kind of arena. Once again, impulse buy, something that almost everyone wants, has a very large market and something that performs well in visually appealing formats too, right? Personal care, skincare, stuff like that, you can show very clear before and afters. You can show a very clear image of the results that the users can achieve from buying a product. Gifts is another one, right? So these are things that, around the gifting season, so around the end of the year, holiday period, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, these are products that people will just buy as gifts for other people. It's very hard to sell gifts on Google in comparison to Meta because people don't always know what they want to buy as a gift, right? And gifts are often by nature impulse buys. People will be scrolling through their feed, they'll see a gift or they'll see a product marketed as this would be perfect for Father's Day, right? And they immediately go, oh, wow, that's a great Father's Day gift. I didn't have anything in mind. I'm going to purchase it. So gifts around a specific time of the year work great on Meta. Kitchenware as well. This is another one, just a pretty random one, but it's great for visually appealing products, right? A nice fry pan with antimicrobial, anti-microplastic properties is going to do great, and it's going to have good angles that apply to almost anyone, right? Mass market, and everyone uses frying pans, everyone uses kitchen utensils, so it's an easy thing to kind of market on Meta. All right, now let's look a bit further into Google. This is obviously my specialty. While we do run some Meta ads for our clients, we focus primarily on Google because we love Google and we love the Google products, and I love the Google ecosystem. So what are the best products on Google? These are products that solve problems. That's it at the end of the day. Google is a search engine. So by nature, you're going to be capturing people who are already searching for something, whether they're already searching for a piece of clothing or they're searching for someone to remodel their house. There are many, many things that Google can capture, but ultimately it is capturing demand 90% of the time, unless you're running on YouTube ads, but we'll exclude that for the moment and just focus on Google. Google is best for people who are solving a problem with their product, right? It's also great for products with large active competitors. So if you're in a market that has a lot of big competitors and you have a better product than those competitors, that's an incredible opportunity on Google, because what you can do is you can steal and poach traffic from all those competitors, and you can also just take their general non-branded traffic that's coming through, right? So you imagine, I'll explain this in a bit more detail later on, but imagine all these other brands that are running Meta ads and they're driving traffic now to Google. So people are seeing an ad for a hoodie and they're searching Google then for hoodie, probably poor example, but you know what I mean, right? People are seeing an ad for a running shoe and then they go, oh, I got to buy a running shoe, and they go to Google and search for it. Again, this is a great way to hijack that traffic and take advantage of it. Great for niche markets with a small but engaged total addressable market. This is a really big one too. So if you're in a very niche market of something that is not like mass appeal and it's very specific to, you know, maybe to a certain hobby, right? Maybe you sell rock climbing gear, right? That's very, very niche, and it's something that people will be searching for. They'll be searching for rock climbing harnesses, rock climbing shoes, whatever it may be, right? And people search for these because they don't typically get ads popping up on their Meta feed because it's very hard to target those niche audiences. And then finally, Google is slower to scale, but it has much more consistent performance. So if you need to ramp up your ads from 0 to 100 tomorrow, you're probably not going to perform on Google. But if you want to slowly and steadily build a consistent base that'll give you sustainable performance, sustainable profits, Google is the way to go. Because after a month or two of high performance and genuine scaling and iteration and improvement on Google, you can get very consistent returns for months on end without having to create new creatives, new videos, new ads. You can just keep running the same thing and usually get a very consistent performance, which is the dream for a lot of brands, right? Here are some example niches which may work better as Google first brands. Now, once again, there is nothing that is solely a Google brand or solely a Meta brand. Everything pretty much can work on both platforms, but these ones may work better as Google first advertising. High ticket niche products. So things like saunas, greenhouses, pergolas. I've actually worked with all of these niches on Google before, and they're really good because although they're so expensive, they also have people actively searching for them. Expensive products are not things that are often impulse bought from a Meta feed. They're often things that are purchased from search intent. So someone over a period of time has read up on sauna research, they've seen a few sauna ads, they've heard about it in a few podcasts, and they go, okay, I'm going to buy a sauna. They go to Google, they search Google, they look for the best options, and then they buy a sauna. They usually don't buy from a Meta ad. It's much more likely to buy on Google. Same thing with like a greenhouse, like a $500 plus greenhouse or outdoor pergola that needs to be built, right? People don't have connections necessarily that can find them a pergola, and they have to go on Google to find them. So these are all really good examples. High ticket niche products I love on Google. I probably will start my own high ticket niche brand in the future just to run Google ads for it because it is the biggest opportunity on Google. Then problem solving services, right? So stuff like plumbing, landscaping, doctors. People have these urgent needs that have to be fulfilled and they don't have necessarily a contact at the time to go to. So someone might need to see a doctor very urgently, and they may be in a new city where they don't have a normal doctor, or maybe they just don't go to the doctor very often. So they have to search Google for the closest doctor, right? Plumbers, same thing. People may have a broken tap that's leaking all over the house and they need to find someone to fix it. First thing to do is Google plumber near me. Same thing with landscaping, same thing with lawyers, same thing with accountants, with insurance services. So many of these problem solving services that do really, really well on Google because people are urgently requiring them and they're searching for them. Problem-solving software is another one, actually. So AI tools are definitely on the come up right now, and this is one that I think actually is kind of underutilized, underleveraged on Google. When people are searching, people nowadays do search for things to make their life more efficient. So people search for things like AI marketing tool or AI writing tool or AI book writer, right? These are very common searches that people are making nowadays because they know that AI can do this stuff, but they don't know where to find the program or what the program is. So being able to show up on Google there is a very big opportunity where, again, you can capitalize at a pretty low cost because the market isn't super saturated on Google right now. And then problem-solving supplements. Now, this one's a bit of a crossover, but like weight loss supplements, right? If you have people searching the web for how do I lose weight fast, best supplements for weight loss, best supplements for muscle gain, you want to be showing up there with your product that can help them build muscle, help them lose weight, and has a unique angle or unique service or unique selling proposition for it, right? If you have a good product and you solve their problem, you will be there and they will purchase from you. Now, just to reiterate, almost every high quality brand will work simultaneously on both Meta and Google, right? If you have a good product and you have a market around it, you can run ads on both platforms, and you should run ads on both platforms because they'll both drive very high quality traffic. However, there is one reason in particular that I like Google the most. And that is because you get to take advantage of all of the traffic that all of your competitors are running and all the traffic that you are running and capitalize it as the final step, right? So imagine you are selling running shoes and you're a brand new brand on the market. You sell these shoes though that have this massive advantage over other shoes. Maybe it's some specific carbon plate in the shoes that makes people run faster, right? And you have proven research, you have heaps of reviews, heaps of testimonials, people love your products, you're better than Nike, you're better than Adidas, you're better than Asics, you're better than all the big running brands out there, right? Now, every single day, Asics, Adidas, Nike are spending millions of dollars on paid advertising across TikTok, Meta, email, Snapchat, Pinterest, organic, across everything, right? They're advertising on every single platform. And when they advertise, it's inevitably going to hit a user. And, these users, sometimes the users will click through to the website and they'll go and purchase from them. But oftentimes these users will not necessarily go to the website and it'll just trigger their mind. They'll go, oh, okay, running shoes. Of course, I need to buy some new running shoes. They'll go to Google, they'll search for running shoes, and then they'll see your product prop up that's amazing and better than all the others. They'll go through to your website and they make the purchase. So Nike, Adidas, and Asics have just paid for your first touch point. They've paid for your first ad. And then you've just paid for the final click and you've sealed the deal and stolen their traffic at the last step of the funnel. So again, this is a really, really powerful mechanism. And that's what I love the most about Google is that you get to take all this traffic that's being generated by other brands and you get to convert it right before they close a sale. And we've used this technique and this method across almost every client account we work in. And it can add an enormous amount of revenue in comparison to Meta, which is solely relying on that one view, that one impulse, and that one trigger to buy. So that's all from me today, guys. I hope you found this helpful. Some brief advice on where I recommend allocating your funds if you're moving into paid ads. Both Meta and Google are great platforms. I love Google. I'm biased towards Google. If you want any help with Google, or if you want help with Meta, I know a little bit about Meta too, but primarily Google. If you want help with either of the platforms, please feel free to book a call with me using the link in the description. There should be a opportunity down there for you to book in a discovery call. I'm more than happy to discuss your Google ads, figure out how we can make you more money with Google, tell you whether you're even a good brand or a good fit on Google, just break everything down and give you completely free consultation and help because I love helping you guys out. And if you have any suggestions for future videos, please feel free to leave them in the comments down below. I do read all the comments. Other than that, that is everything from me and I'll see you guys in the next video.